Trump also goes on to say, well, you look, the death is way down from where it was. And technically, there's some truth there. But Swan also notes that it's very misleading. Beginning in April and continuing through beginning of May, death tolls in the U.S. spiked. At one point, the country was recording daily death tolls of 2,700 people. As May continued, the death toll began to fall. Crack one open for the boys. So much that the country was reporting less than 1,000 deaths per day by mid-June. However, that number started climbing again last month and eventually climbing back to over 1,000 mark, which we're at currently. So it's going up and down, up and down. So while, yeah, it was down from where it was, but it's going back up. It's like you're looking back at your... Like, stop looking back, right? You got to live in the now and forward. And I think that's a big problem in general. People keep looking back at what he did wrong instead of what can we do now that's right.
Yeah, no, exactly. You can't hammer because he did handle that right with the travel thing.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's straight up a matter. There is no unifying agreement of what should get done, which is fine because it makes sense generally because clearly they're going to be more densely populated areas. And when you are putting restriction on things, it's going to hurt any economy that you're in, local and global. So you want to minimize that as much as possible so people can actually afford to live. But also, you need to understand that so many people are dying that clearly not enough is being done.
Yeah.
Like, what's the point of a healthy economy if the people aren't healthy?
Yeah. Yeah, and he loves bragging at the NASDAQ. NASDAQ was at an all-time high again, all-time high. The numbers are up, the economy's up. It's not. The numbers might look good, but 92% of the economy is made up of the top 10% of the population. Look at that. Look where the bailout money went.
Yeah, exactly. That's the biggest thing. The bailout money didn't even...
The real unemployment number is around 20%, 25%. That's from Kyle Klinsky. You know, they don't count in unemployment numbers what they call discouraged workers, people who stopped looking. They don't count them. Or maybe it's people who are looking. I don't remember. It's one or the other. But the unemployment numbers we see right now, that's not the true numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You have the unemployment numbers keep coming in week after week. They keep coming in. And all those people who lose their jobs, lose their health care if they're full-time employees.
Yeah, and a big thing that people aren't really thinking about this in terms of economics is, say you have a place where, you know, it is actually shut down. Well, how many businesses do you think are going to use some sort of backdoor strategy to actually keep operating? And so there you've got really nothing legitimate going on because you can't account for Corona getting spread accurately with that because they're not going to tell you that they're going to work. Mm-hmm. Not going to tell anybody that they got it at work if they're getting paid under the table. And then you've got more people getting paid under the table because they don't want to get, you know, caught for violating any sort of Corona restrictions that have been put on where they are. So it's really having no solid ground to stand on in this it causes more problems that you can't even begin to estimate or track right now.
Right.
You have no earthly idea about how the economy is actually operating right now with, what is it, a quarter of Americans unemployed?
Yeah.
So that number could probably be higher or could probably be lower. Either way, it's affecting both of those economically and health-wise heavily because it's inaccurate. They're both inaccurate.
Did we mention last week the percentage of people who couldn't make rent per state?
I don't know if we did.
All right, so I might have watched this video a little too late. So the lowest number of people, renters, who couldn't pay rent was about 23%. The lowest number. Can you guess which state?
Alabama.
Vermont.
Right?
Okay. The highest...
Wait, that was the lowest. 23% of
Yeah.
renters couldn't pay it?
Yeah.
Jesus.
The highest was about either, I think, 59 or 69, one or the other. I think it's 59. West Virginia.
West Virginia?
Yeah. People can't pay rent.
I would have guessed somewhere like California.
Right? I think these numbers are more important. Honestly, I think these numbers are almost just as, if not more important, than these COVID numbers.
No, I would definitely agree with that because what you're going to happen is you've got 69 to 79% of the population that can't afford rent. They're going to be looking for other ways that they can be able to pay rent. And
Right.
that's where you get a lot of things that you're not going to be able to quantify because they're not going to want to talk about what they're doing. They're going
Right.
to be doing illegal things.
So one way to fight this virus and stop the numbers from increasing is to fight the harm the increased numbers are causing, which is healthcare, housing, and employment.
Yeah.
If you scratch those things off and take care of those things, the numbers are going to start coming down. Other than just arguing about the numbers and arguing about the death rate, because they also argue about the death rate. Like that transition?
No, exactly. That's incredibly logical because the more people have to worry about those things, the more they're going to not worry about actual COVID.
Yeah, they're more likely they're going to take a risk.
Yeah, and the higher that increased risk is, the worse that area is going to be afflicted, economically and health wise, from both sides, because they counteract with each other. You can't really have a stable economy and be in COVID lockdown. They don't work.
Yeah, that's an oxymoron if I've ever heard one.